Hi, everybody, and welcome to Humboldt All Walks of Life. Today, we're doing the June 6th series. We have today my co-host.
Trip, Tim, Timmy, whatever you want to call me. And we actually have a special guest today. And you might be.
Hey, I'm Ricky Diaz. Some people in the Army call me Baby D. Yeah, here I am, man.
Hey, I want to say welcome, Diaz. I appreciate you taking this time to come out here because I know a lot of people kind of struggle with this day, this event in our history. It's one in American history, but that's just one day of big political war type deal. So we're just giving a point of view of what we got going on and what happened that day. You know what I mean? So let's talk a little bit about you, man. How you doing?
And I have my ups and downs. I'm doing all right, actually. What most people don't know about me, I actually went to a facility called Camp Hope and kind of dealt with all these problems and situations. So I'm kind of on the other side of this hill. I still have my days where I stumble on that kind of stuff, but I'm a father, husband, got 4 kids, so it keeps me pretty busy.
Heck yeah, bro. I appreciate you coming on again. So let's get into let's kind of dive into you kind of had like a little after the incident you kind of dealt with it a little crazy, right? And like you said, you're on the other side of the hill. We still have brothers who haven't even made it to the top of that hill yet. I can say I'm almost there, dude. I have more better days than I do bad days now, which I'm grateful for that, and I'm very blessed. But it took me a long time to be able to sit here and talk about it, dude. Like it's crazy because I didn't even want to think about it. There's a lot of people that are I'm using this kind of like therapeutic for me as well. I'm kind of getting names back, brought to me, like, people dropping names, telling their stories. And I'm like, dang, dude, how could I forget that fool? We was like this. Cause I just like, you just tune everybody out because you're trying to forget a dark days, dark years and all that stuff. And that's not fair to my battle buddies. So I guess I'm trying to make it up now. And I've been reaching out to everybody and, telling them I'm sorry
appreciate that
for being a horrible friend. Cause I'm sure they were going through stuff and I wasn't there for them. So I appreciate you so much, dude. You don't understand.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about a little bit about that? Like how you felt afterwards before we dive into it type deal? Or,
I mean, like
how it affected you before you got to this, this where you're at right now, where you say you over that hill. If you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to.
No. I actually wrote what is called a step 4, and it listed everything from my birth all the way up to that point. Dude, it took a long time. I know you remember a little bit vaguely about my situation in the military and how I had that survivor's guilt, through certain people, such as the first sergeant that was in charge of me, with the harassment and that kind of stuff. It kind of, how do I say it? It kind of made me feel like I was a boy. And so I had to go find out what it was to be a man. And, I went to jail. I've done some time, 15 months, was my longest stint. Got in with the wrong crowd, joined a gang. I went through my ups and downs, man. There's just so many of those stories that I could tell you. It's my computer. Man, I didn't think I was going to see that light of day. And at the time, my best friend was Marcellus Nelson, and my mother went to him and it was like, you're going to have to be at his funeral. You're going to have to speak at his funeral because at this point in time, he's not going to make it. And at that time, I was in jail. So, for that 15 months, and it looked very bleak. So,
Dang, I didn't even know you was in jail for that long.
Yeah, man.
I'm sorry, bro.
Hey, no, it was mistakes that I made as a man, and
you had to pay for them.
Yep, actions they have consequences.
Yeah, I know, but like I was telling a lot of these guys is like, we come back from war, dude, and then we're just, in your situation, I feel bad because you was a good soldier, you was a loyal battle buddy, and they gave you the boot, and I felt like the way they did you guys dirty was just because you guys didn't know better. But if you guys knew better, and you know what I mean, there would have been ways around that, and you probably would have got past all that bullshit and probably stayed in longer. You know what I mean? He was just done dirty. It is what it is.
I mean, yeah, if I had a little bit of a father figure or something like that, just to give me a little guidance, it would have been a little bit better. I also was hard headed as well, but yeah, I was 18, 19.
Try to find you a crew to put you with, though. You know what I mean?
I was with Gonzo for a little while. I like Gonzo. He was awesome.
Who was your chief?
Sarn Diaz.
Oh, Sarn D. Oh yeah, that's
remember him?
Yeah. He was a good dude.
Yeah, he was, man. He even came up to me after, the whole situation happened. Before, I got booted, and he was like, he had a little bit to drink. He's like, you know what? I respect the hell out of you and all the situation, and I'm sorry. You know what I mean? He came to me as a man, like not as a staff sergeant or as your boss, coming to a lowly private over here. You know what I mean? He came in and said, hey, I'm sorry. So, I mean, he's a good dude. Good dude.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that? Like what happened, that transition afterwards, or do you want to go? We could talk about that in order if you like.
Oh, it's entirely up to you. Yeah, the transition of when I got out. Oh man. I was told that I wouldn't be able to get education.
And your GI Bill, right? You paid for that GI Bill.
Yeah, so I would have to pay for that.
You did get it back though, right?
Yes, because I was under honorable conditions, and my whole situation kind of helped me. They actually saw the record and all that kind of stuff, and so it kind of helped me. You could put two and two together, man. When I was getting booted out, they took me. Sergeant Deferage came up to me and he was like, "Hey, don't tell them that you're crazy in the head." I was like, "What?" Because I don't know if y'all knew, when I was getting booted out, I was struggling from panic attacks, right? And I panicked so hard I fainted and hit my nose, and I was bleeding. And they took me to the hospital. And so when I was getting booted out, they told me not to mention any of that. So I wouldn't. I don't know. I do now as a grown man. I'm 34. And I know what that was.
And explain to Tim, because I know what that is, but he doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
He don't know what that means. So explain to him that why he did that, so he kind of understands the story.
Why he
told you not to tell him the mental stuff.
Yeah. In the Army, it's we're gun ho, bro. You're supposed to be a man. That's it. There's no in between. There's no
weakness, nothing.
Yeah, man. There's no in between, bro. You got to be a man, and you got to do what you got to do, and that's it. It doesn't matter. You have kids, you're married. It doesn't matter. Do your job. Do your duty, and of course, it helps, but sometimes you kind of let it fester. And so that's the whole situation that what happened to me, and I had those panic attacks. And they just told me to keep it inside instead of letting that situation out.
So is that just because it was the be a man mentality, or is that because it would affect the Army in a way?
It was a little bit of both. That mentality was given to us through basic training.
Correct.
Like I was told, kill, kill, kill. That was the bottom line as a combat arms. 13 Bravo field artillery. It was that's was put in my head as a teenager. I was young. I was really young. I know y'all had Bieber on here. Love that man. Yeah, he man, sorry.
You good?
Me and him went through a lot together. Yeah, we were. He was about. I was born on March 17th, and he was born June or July. I can't remember. So we were pretty young with the whole situation. So
right, you guys were like
I said,
the youngest guys that were out there with us in Iraq. You guys were like 18, 19 years old, or turning 19 out there type deal.
So, yeah. So that man mentality, army mentality, was just drilled into us. That's how it was.
Yeah, but the thing about that kind of screwed the pooch with this guy is that Tim, is that him not complaining about it. Like, all my stuff is recorded, dude. I didn't give a crap about anybody telling me, no, oh, you're a big old, get the sand out your vagina troop. You know what I mean? Like, all right, I got a lot of sand. Like, I don't give a crap, dude. Like, I'm going to go and talk to somebody because I know that something's wrong with me because I'm not this guy. I used to be like the life of the party. I used to dance. I used to, everything, fool. And then all of a sudden now I'm this monster, dude. Like, all I want to do is just fight everybody and be so aggressive. And like, I was mad at the world, dude. Like, it's not okay. So I started getting help, early on. But a lot of these guys, man, you're getting told by your father figure, these guys that we're supposed to look up to, hey, suck it up, come on, Buttercup. And then number two, not saying anything, during him getting kicked out, some colonel or some general would have, looked at his his thing and been like, why are we kicking this troop out? You know what I mean? He's going through some stuff. He's talking about it at therapy. You know what I mean? And they probably would have started the med board process on him and started probably, chaptering him out, and he would have got, good benefits, and he would have got a paycheck and everything, and based off of his PTSD, because he's not functioning correctly, because that, Diaz was a good soldier, man. And a lot of these guys, be burned too. They were just young, dumb, and following, the crowd. Some of the guys, were smarter than these guys, and kept it low, where they just kept it pushing. But they were
my friend. Marcellus, king of keep it pushing. Say not a word.
Right.
Yeah. I can say my brother took kind of y'all's path in the Marines. He over there started having back problems and shit. And they recorded it, and then he got an honorable discharge out of it before he even made it to anywhere. He got out of boot camp, went to I don't even know, but made it there, started complaining about back problems, and then they honorable and discharged him.
Yeah, it happens. There's people that out of basic. I watched it. They get out for medical, dude, real quick, and it's like, dude, you only made it to basic training. You're 50% disabled veteran now. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're in basic training, and that's all it took.
Yeah, but there's a lot of training accidents too, though. Like I've been at NBC, and you had like the infantry cats that get run over by their tanks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Tankers running over tankers and accidents.
Mm-hmm. I met a guy that the door hit him on the back from the MRAP, and he was messed up. Like, I mean,
that's a heavy door, dog.
It just accidents happen like that. Like, no one holds them. I don't hold resentment towards anyone such as that. That's not, what I mean? That's
your own dumbass fault for standing in the way on that one.
Right. Yeah. He's good.
You supposed to know better.
Like, I'm like, I'm hoping he's doing good. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah!
All right, my boy. Let's get into a little bit about this. You comfortable?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
I have ADHD, so I kind of move around a little bit. So
hey, that's my problem.
Yeah.
I got restless leg syndrome, fool.
Yeah, that's fun.
I was gonna say, all right. So how did you feel? What did you, when you got orders? When we got orders to go to Iraq, when you came to the unit, what were your thoughts? How did you feel?
Me, I'm gonna be honest. When I got orders, it was kind of like shock. It wasn't. I wasn't scared. I wasn't the. I don't know how to say it. I wasn't shocked as far as we just got these orders and it's just paper, right? You don't actually hit that reality until you actually get there.
Right.
So for me,
your first deployment, right?
Yeah, I was just excited to belong to someone or to something.
Right.
Yeah, and so it was more of excitement,
yeah, I'm gonna do something great. This, I'm a young man. I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna try.
I'm gonna
do.
Yeah.
I'm all of 140 pounds, but I'm a freaking doozy.
Yeah.
Tiny kid. 18 years old.
Yeah, I was also the. Yeah, I was also a state champion in the 200 meter or in the 800 meter when I was younger. So I was really, really thin, and my PT tests were just everything important to me. So like I said, I was just ready for that moment. Yeah, I was just ready for that moment to prove myself and my worth. So that's pretty much it. Like I didn't really have this all-encompassed moment when it came to that.
Right, and you were married at the time, single soldier.
See, when I went to NTC, and this is why, Gonzo, who's normally on here, he would laugh about this, because he actually helped me through that, because he told me a little bit of his story at that time, and yeah, I was married. She left. She couldn't handle it. I guess we were high school sweethearts. We got married pretty early. I went to NTC. She found out that she couldn't hack the army life, and she left. So yeah, it was a pretty hard time, pretty rough.
So
and I was
came
really
back from NTC. You came back to NTC. She was gone.
NTC, Fort Polk.
Yeah. Oh, went to JRTC. Yeah.
No, she left me then, like right before that.
Wow.
Yeah. So that entire time I was distracted. And so Gonzo, being a battle buddy that he was, him and Adam Smith, he's also the one that's very, very young. They try to help me through that a little bit. I don't know if they remember that, but yeah, it was excruciating. So no, I was single. My mom came. That was pretty much it, man. I was just trying to belong somewhere.
Right.
Do you think her leaving you though was probably better for you in the long run? Now that you look back on it,
absolutely. I'm married, so I'm remarried. And
right.
She's the most beautiful woman I've ever met, inside and out. You know what I mean? So
right.
like, even with the situations that I had that we're discussing here, she's been through it with me. How about that? Even when I was locked, like when I was locked up, she would send me letters. She would send me money on my books. She would tell me that I'm doing good and I'm doing okay and keep moving forward. So
that's great, man. That's tough, dude. So
yeah,
she wasn't there for you on that deployment, but she was there for you on the after deployment.
Yeah, when you needed it most.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's the same situation with me and my wife, dude. I'm obsessed with that woman. She
yeah, exactly.
Dude, she just you know what I'm saying? Because it takes a lot to, like I've been through women. I went through wives, like because I know I'm not gonna be a lonely person, dude. You know what I mean? But it's getting the right person that can understand us and be like, it's okay, it's all right. Come here, I got you. And I'm lucky to have that, and I see that you got that, and that makes me happy for you, bro. I appreciate her. because we need women.
Yeah, no doubt.
More women like that for guys that are messed up like us. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Well, you just need more women to be good women in general.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I mean, simple as that.
Yeah. Well,
because everybody's gonna fuck up.
Right. Well, so you was ready to be super soldier, go to Iraq, man, and then how was it when getting to Iraq, man? When did they hit you? They're like, oh shoot, I'm in Iraq.
Not until I got in that Black Hawk or whatever it was. You remember? So
the Schnook.
It was annoying.
The big one?
Yeah, no, not even. Look, so I remember this in vague. I have an eidetic memory. It's kind of annoying. So remember we went through. It wasn't Topeka. We went to Manhattan. Got on that commercial airplane. Flew to Al Asad. That was awesome. It didn't hit me there because that was just kind of like a safety blanket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's really nothing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it really didn't hit me there either. Then we got on that, I don't know if it was the C-130 or the Chinook. And then we got on the Chinook, I think. And then we got on this little helicopter to get to JSS Loyalty. That's how literally it was. Until I got on that and actually saw when we were coming down and been like, that can't be it. That little box right there can't be the shit we're going to right now.
Right, dude. When you're flying in and you're like, oh
no,
that's
bro.
so
Like,
small.
Them dudes just had Popeyes over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
You just see them T-walls, like, dude.
Crap.
20-foot walls, and you see how small that is, and you're just like, no, not again.
They lied.
Not again.
So yeah, that's when it hit me. I was like, crap. But no, man, like most of that time, it was pretty good actually until my situation happened. It was real good, man. Specialist Rangel at the time. I don't know if he got promoted or not. We haven't talked, but he was a good battle buddy. Gonzo, Gonzo, Sergeant Diaz. We had this thing going on, man, where we were just like this, or hot-headed, want to be pretty boy Hispanics or something like that. It was funny. It was funny stuff, man.
They had the little GQ crew.
Yeah, that's what it was.
They had the Latin Knights. They had the Latin Knights crew.
Yeah, it's something stupid, right? But yeah.
Well, dang, dude. So it hit you when you finally seen it coming in, huh? Yeah. So I came a few days later than you guys because I had just actually deployed with 1st Cavalry Division. And I was only home for like 9 or 10 months, and I had to start my dwell time so I can leave early. Some of the guys that came with me from Fort Hood didn't, so they waited and they got to stay until a little later, and then they didn't catch up till like February or something like that. But
right.
I didn't. My whole section, nobody deployed but me, and my chief, the chief at the time. I think that fool got moved to Alpha Battery. So we didn't even have a section chief. So it was just pretty much me. And then I think when we got to Iraq, they put Sergeant Haynes in the position. You remember him, E5 Haynes? Well, you became staff sergeant out there, the tall one.
Was he either bald or really?
Yeah, tall, bald head, white boy, walked real quick.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah. And he's walking. His walk is like my jog. I'm like, hey. So what's going on, fool? What's up, dog? He was cool shit. He was married to a Mexican girl from Texas, I think.
I don't remember that, but yeah,
he was.
I remember what you're talking about. Yeah, he good people.
Yeah, so
most of y'all good people. Everyone's good people. You know what I mean? We're in a tough situation. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So I didn't like. I got out there with you guys a few days later. I signed that dwell time because I didn't want, Haynes, Peterson, just Josias, none of these fools. Chansuk. I don't want none of these fools to be without their boy. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody was terrified, dog. They were, hey Zach, so what's up? Da, 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 da. You know, and I'm just like, hey, dude, like, you know, it just depends on where we're going, what we do. And I said, whatever you do, always be on guard, food, no matter what. You're gonna see people that are get too comfortable. Don't be that guy, because I'm telling you, there's a lot of situations. My previous deployment that if I would have put my guard down, I wouldn't be here right now. So, you know, they went with that mentality, and I wanted them to keep that mentality. I always told them, hey, you know, and when we got there, food, you know, I came in and I was wondering why they were sending us on a schnook, because they were talking about all the first ones were, like you said, Blackhawks, and they were doing, you know, transports, just a few troops at a time. And then they started taking the schnook because they kept taking contact at Loyalty.
Oh.
So when I came in, we were taking contact, and I came in at night, dude, and I was like, oh man, this is what I'm fucking walking into.
I think I remember.
The deployment that these guys had before us was so cake, dude. Like, they hated me when I came in with my calf patch and my cab. You know, that I seen some my combat action badge. These guys were like, oh, where'd you get that at? You know, like Pitnick and all these other dudes, you know, they've been there, Rangel, they've been there for a minute. You know, they went to Iraq, fool, and they didn't see nothing. They didn't do nothing. They, you know, not a bullet, you know, not a shot fired, fool, you know. Yeah. So these guys were, oh, it's gonna be cake, and then nah, fool, we got there and it was tough, man. Everybody was on high alert, dude.
Yeah, it was a rude awakening. So
talk about like day-to-day life for you there, because we, you know, I kind of just brushed them up a little bit, you know, kind of put a little pressure on
day-to-day life for me.
To you, it was nothing, you know.
Well, to me, I'm gonna be 110% honest with you. Some of it I black out. I don't remember it at all. So like I said early in this show, what happened, the harassment and all that stuff that happened to me, it took a toll on me. I took it to heart, right? I grew up without a father, so when another father figure is telling me something, and it's, you know, you're getting beat down, you know, kind of gets hard, right?
Do you want to talk about the harassment, or?
We could talk about whatever you like to talk about, I guess.
No, it's whatever you like to talk about, though.
You know, you're saying that it was, you know, tough for you or whatever. Do you want to explain like how that was tough for you? Because a lot of people don't realize it. You know, it sucks. It's pick and choose. You know, it depends on who's the leader up front. You know, who's going to shine. Because if it's somebody, you know, a lot of the military is favoritism. I realized.
Yeah, well, I knew that from everything, from the jump, man. As soon as I did the situation that I had, and I'm not gonna say his name on here. I'm not a person that put people out there like that, and they wanted me to be, if that makes any sense. They wanted me to put someone out there, and it was either his career or not, right? And I'm not going to do that to anybody. It's not.
Somebody wanted you to rat on him. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much, yeah. Like the whole situation.
Can you talk about the situation?
I'd rather not. Okay. Just because I don't.
Understandable.
You're good.
I don't put him on blast. I don't do that. But after the situation, what went down was just completely awful. Right. No support whatsoever for someone that, you know, is 18. And yeah. I mean,
so what were your consequences? Can you talk about that? What did they make you do? What was the?
They
did you do extra duty? Anything like that?
Yeah.
Lost some rank and pay. Work no pay.
All that. You go ahead and name it all, man. I remember when
we were in Iraq, fool. They gave you how many months did you work with no pay?
I don't know if they did or no pay, but they did. I lost my rank. I lost pay. I don't know how much. You gotta understand, I was 18. My mom was taking care of all my business. My phone was suspended. You gotta understand that I came at this thing full force at 100%.
You had no bills, I gave nothing.
You everything I had, and you treated me like a child. You treated me like a boy. You treated me,
and the messed up part, Diaz, is that you were kind of becoming the golden boy of the battery. You were Mr. PT 300. You were, expert shooter. Let's see what else. Nobody could beat you on a run. Like
well, that's just because I had a lot of training, but
but that's what made you shine, though, my boy. And you had one bad incident. You know what I'm saying?
I had one after that as well. It was that's the.
But I think that's
after coffin.
Yeah, but I think it had to do with aftermath of our situation of June 6th and what that played on our mental, though. I think.
Yeah.
So I legit got a question for you, though. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So June 6th. First time I heard anything about it is when Zach started talking about it. So that tells you where I'm at in reality.
So absolutely. So I'll break it down for you. June 6th of 2011. I'm gonna be honest. I was going to guard duty.
What tower are you at?
Dude, I don't remember what tower, but I used to hate that damn tower because they used to keep telling me there was vipers in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? They used to tell me there was vipers. And then there was so many mosquitoes everywhere, bro, that we used to have them electric things, and it would make it a game, bro. It was so bad. Ooh, it was so bad. And my guard duty was with, they started sticking me with Marcellus because they wanted me to calm down. And so I was going to guard duty with Marcellus. And so on June 6th of 2011, we took a blast, right? Several. I was actually walking to the porta john or the little water thing so I can brush my teeth. That's what most people don't know. Most people don't know my story at all. No one actually knows my story other than people from the VA. Sorry about that.
Now you good.
Yeah, and so there was a T-wall right here, and there was two T-walls, so it was kind of like in a triangle way, and I was going on the outside. And
do you remember what where you were closer to? Like volleyball courts, or you going to the
yeah, so you remember the volleyball court? It was literally adjacent to it, right? It was where everyone hanged out on that bench right by those porta johns.
Yeah.
So right across, of course, we know Centron and all them were right across from us. And then you cut the volleyball court right here, right? So anyway, I was going there, and then the first blast went off. I don't remember the next two, give or take. At this time, dude, I was working out. So I was about 165 pounds, 168. I wasn't very big. I was doing weight, protein, you know what I mean? Trying to get bigger, you know what I'm saying? I'm a PT stud. I got to get this. Yeah, it picked me off the ground about 10 feet. I slammed into that T-wall on my right side. I tried to get up. It was blurry. Everything was vision. I didn't know what was right. I didn't know what was left. So I was trying to walk, and I looked like I was extremely drunk. Have you ever been extremely drunk?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I was in the military.
Yeah, I tried doing that with some sedatives and all that. I've tried to mimic that, and I have never gotten to that sense. And so that's how low I got when I got out. But in June 6th, I just couldn't know what was right and left. And the only person that grabbed me to this day was Specialist. I know he's a staff sergeant now, I believe. But his name was Specialist Peterson. Guy with glasses, average Joe looking.
That's my battle buddy.
Sweet, kind-hearted man. Didn't care if I was throwing up gang signs or licking people's shoes. He didn't give a fuck, right? And he picked me up, and that's all I remember to a degree. Yeah, I don't remember a lot after that. I kind of remember going to the
aid station.
I remember. No, I didn't go to the aid station first. I went to. My arm was like this, right? But we were trying to put water on the fire because all them fucking rounds were going off, bro. And so we were kept trying to fucking shovel water and give him water and give him water. And that's what I was doing. And then they told me to go to the aid station. But they also, at that time, bro, that's what you have to understand. The Sergeant Diaz thing happened about a couple months before. So my situation kind of manifested after that, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, the harassment and stuff was pretty much after your incident. Yeah.
And so with PTSD on everyone's mind, it exacerbated it. It got worse. It's because people have PTSD, they get irritated, they get angry, they do shit, right? But yeah, that's pretty much all I remember. I remember having to use a 9mm Beretta, and I had a profile. And I remember talking to some staff sergeants, and I said, fuck it. And I took off that Beretta and said, here, have this profile. I'm good to go. Yeah, didn't matter. They didn't put me on missions after that anyway. So that's my story. Not much of it. Yeah.
So you was a casualty of Iraq, you know what I'm saying? And you was, you know, it is to you it's nothing way, but you know, let me fill you in on some of those blank places. I had a round come out on the first round that came down was on the other side of mine and Kova's choose. It comes back to me now that I like talk to people and stuff. It's crazy, but I was lucky to just, you know, kind of same situation to you. I didn't come off the ground 10 feet. You know what I'm saying? I blew the concussion of the round coming in. That force is what pushed me up against the T-wall that I got this little nifty scar on my back. But there's a lot of us that got messed up, dude, and none of us got Purple Hearts. You know, because there was more people dead and, you know, messed up and stuff. But the first round came down. I was actually just in the bathroom with Nelson was taking a shit. I had just came out taking a shower because I had to go to OP guard, and then everybody who died in the other bunker, Hartwick, Campbell, all the medics.
Oh, I do have a good story about Hartwick. You remember? I actually watched your entire video about B-Bird. There was one thing that y'all forgot. We did do. Gonzo forgot that we did do. What was it called? QRF. I don't know if I did it with him
at the QRF.
We did a little bit of. We did a little QRF, and you know what? Hartwick was the one that taught me how to play spades, and he wanted me to come into Ohio with him. Yeah,
he was good people.
Yeah,
all them guys, man. They that first round hit, like I was already going back to the room. Like I was in the room. Floyd was sleeping because Floyd was my roommate.
Oh yeah.
And that day, Centron had off, so I got to get some extra time to sleep because that motherfucker would always be like, I don't go get chow with him, and you know, so it's extra time. But since he's being lazy and he got the day off, he didn't wake up. You know, we didn't go get chow together because when we go to the OP, we go before the DFAC opens, before the chow opens, and then they would give us, you know, our meals, and we just tell them how many we want, and they just hook us up, and then we just make all the plates, and then we take them up there. So you're taking food to the off-coming shift, and then our food for the oncoming shift. So that would be mine and Citron's job, because we wanted to make sure that we got the good food, and we got to pick, all the stuff that we want to take up there. So it's kind of a perk. Yeah. So that day I passed it off, and I was like, I'm gonna get some extra sleep since Citron's already gonna have off anyways, because he was gonna go to the board.
Yeah.
And he was studying for the board to make his E5. And I was helping him study.
Yeah, sometimes I
printed all that shit off. Yeah. I'm telling you, when you start talking to people, it all comes back.
You're like, oh, okay.
I remember this. Some of that. Yeah. Citron wanted to, he was going places.
He was going to be something, bro. He was very smart. He was a very intelligent man, bro.
Right.
From what I heard, he was in computers, right?
Everything.
He was in computers.
Bro. Everything.
Yeah. That man
couldn't speak English good, but he was good at everything.
Yeah.
But
that's correct. I remember that now.
Yeah, so my bad. I get off subject, dude, because I just
everything
fine, starts coming back to me, dude.
Yeah,
and I remember it. So I just seen the medics in the bathroom, and then I go back in there. I'm already showered and shit, to my room, to my chew, to put to get my stuff on, and I lay down. And as soon as I lay down, dude, boom! Like I didn't even go get all the way down. I was like halfway in motion. The first one comes down, and then I hit the top of my chew. And then it throws me on the bed, and Floyd wakes up because he's like in midair, coming down, and he looks at me. He's like, "What was that?" I said, "I don't know, but I hit my head on the roof." And me and him run out of the chew and go into the bunker. And I don't remember who was in the bunker. I think maybe it was Van Valkenburg. Then that second round comes down, and that's the round. That's the round. The round that hit the bunker that killed the guys, and then I take off running, dude. I was like, oh no, dude, because I was too close. I said, all right, let's get out of here. I don't know where Floyd ran off to. I don't know where Van Valkenburg ran off to. I think they might have stayed in the bunker, but I took the hell off, fool.
And then that shit, right?
So that next one that comes down hits Citron's room. And that's the one that makes me I get hit by the porter shitter, and it hits me, like smacks me against the wall. And then when I got over there, I get up and I keep running towards him. And when I go over there, I just start helping motherfuckers. And Peterson, he was a specialist at the time. He made his E5 after that. But
good, he deserves it.
Yeah, Peterson, I did. I remember the whole thing. And then rounds were still landing. They were IRAMs, big ass rockets, and they were they kept landing, and people were running to the bunkers. But there was a lot of people down, and you had guys out there. You were down. Blackburn was trapped in his room. Cook was trapped in his room. I watched Staff Sergeant Peters come out from underneath the rumble like a Michael Jackson Thriller. I was like, oh, my boy Sergeant Jones, he was as pale as Blackburn.
I remember Sergeant Jones, man. He was a good dude, bro.
Yeah,
he stopped me from doing a lot when I had to stay in those dorms or whatever, bro. He's a good dude.
Yeah,
very sorry.
He was my battle buddy from First Cap. He signed his dwell time too to come out there. He signed to leave early too. So
good dude, man.
Yeah, my boy Allums. Remember Allums? He was from First Cap.
Yeah, he's in Germany right now, I believe.
Nah, he's out now. He's been through the ringer.
Good.
He just don't be on social media, so you gotta hit him his phone direct. I do that every so often. Yeah,
you gotta stay off that stuff, bro. Sometimes.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing
right now. The only reason why I don't, I try not to be on it so much. I share a bunch of reels real quick and then boom them off. You know what I mean? Just so people know. All right, Zach's alive. He's cool. He's chilling.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my funny reels from Zach at least once a day in the morning.
That's why I'm taking a shit.
While I'm sitting over there taking a shit, I'm scrolling through. Let me see what. Oh, look, here's Zach.
All right.
There's
my blessing. See you later.
Yep, he's alive. Keep going.
Nah, dude, because I tried I'm not proud of it, man. But I'll never let that take over me ever again. But I was about to be one of our battle buddies. Another statistic.
Yeah.
But I'm glad, I'm blessed that I'm still here, and you did your time, 15 months, fool. I did about that. I didn't leave my house. You know what I'm saying? I was just there dying, dog. Just.
Hey, it doesn't matter where you do it, bro.
Yeah. Now I had a couple times where I had to be admitted, and they kept me for a little while. One time they forced me. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. I was taken by the cops. So.
Yeah, don't fight the cops. Don't do that.
I'm not scared of no
police.
Make
it way worse. You're gonna make it way worse.
Nah, I know
that's the problem, bro.
I've seen too much violence, man. I'm just trying to find some peace.
I'd rather stay. Yeah, I'm gonna just stay, but I'm good, man. I'm good. I'll stay out there light.
Hell yeah.
All right, so
you ain't lying.
So how was it afterwards, man? You had you didn't get put in for a Purple Heart. I think they only put the guys in on the Bird that took that helicopter ride.
Yeah, and that's cool, man. I don't look at it as that, right? I don't even now. Maybe when I was like a little, when I was 20, I had a little resentment towards that, but I really don't now, right? I look at it and be like, whatever, it is what it is. Afterwards, bro, I used to run 10 miles a day. Yeah, I used to run 10 miles a day.
Just to clear your mind?
Yeah.
That's good, man.
I always run, bro. And it was over-exercising. I over-exercised. That's how I dealt with my stuff. I actually didn't start drinking until I was 21. So when I came back, I wasn't even 21 yet, bro.
Right.
So
and then they kicked you out, right?
Yeah.
Hey, so how come they didn't? Why didn't they kick you out while you were in Iraq? Why did they wait until we got back? Was there a reason?
I actually gained rank again.
Right.
I was trying. I was doing my best, like, to gain rank and gain the respect of my peers, and it just didn't happen, bro. When individuals have it out for you, bro, and they have a rank and power, bro, it's it. It doesn't matter. It's like a police officer, bro. You can go ahead and fight him if you want. He gonna tase your ass, put you in cuffs, and then you're gonna get a felony. So that's what I'm saying. You can't fight that.
Even when they're in the wrong, it's kind of fucked up. I get it.
It happens, bro. It is what it is. Yeah. I can let that eat me alive and let him win, or I can just move forward. I mean,
well, what are you doing as a civilian? Are you
oh man,
VA? You collecting VA money
too? Yes, I am 100% disabled, man.
Right,
permanent total.
Well, all he did was do you a favor and retire you a little sooner.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know where he's at. I kind of stopped following that dude.
Yeah. From what I hear, he apologized to Marcellus to apologize to me, but you never know. It could have been Marcellus just telling me something.
Right.
Yeah.
The cool thing to do would have been like if he did tell Marcellus should have, been like, well, here's his number, call him.
Yeah.
I would respect.
I mean, I could. The whole situation was a little, wampus. I mean, I think I told you on the phone how it was. For me and B-Burn standing up there and then just getting our stuff.
Do you want to talk about that? Go ahead and talk about how you were disrespected. You want
to so like
tell him the story. I know the story.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. So it doesn't even matter if you're like a civilian or just a soldier, man. This is entirely disrespectful. If I ripped off your last name, is that disrespectful in any shape as a man?
Yeah.
Absolutely, right? So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so the situation that happened, I got a DD-214, which is my way out of the military, right? They booted me. I get it. We didn't connect. I get it. It's not going to happen, right? So me and B-Burn get a call after we get our stuff. He's getting booted out with me. Very good friend, very loyal. Where were we, man? Custer Hill, I think. Was it Custer Hill?
What was we're up on the hill.
Bullshit
at the motor pool.
Yeah. Well, no. We were getting our stuff signed and everything, and Sergeant Conley picked us up. So I thought it was strange, that we were getting picked up, but they told Sergeant Conley that it was just a farewell and a goodbye. Why not? We love our bros. You know what I'm saying? Just because we're getting out, and it was our situation doesn't mean we didn't love our brothers, right?
Right.
So
you're right.
Cool, yeah. So we ended up going to the
motor pool.
Conley started following the cars that were going in the back of the motor pool, which is like where they had the paladins, or the stuff that we shot, right? Mission fire and all that stuff. Yeah, we went. I thought it was strange. I mean, yeah, I'm a punk kid, right? I'm 21, right? B-Burn's 20, right next to me, right? Yeah, he didn't even turn. He had like a few months, bro. I think. Yeah. So we were walking. Yeah, we're dumb, bro. We just walking up there like, yeah, we're about to say bye. Well, this pressure's off of us, right? This pressure of having to live up to a certain expectation. It finally came off of us as a young man, and we're walking up there just to say goodbye. And you know what? It's not y'all, it's us. You know what I'm saying? Like it's good. But they put us in formation, right? And they put us at attention in front of everybody.
Which you should have never done because technically you were a civilian. You already had your DD-214.
Right. But I'm naive. I'm 21 years old. I don't know anything. Right. And neither did B-Burn. Me and B-Burn did what we were told to do. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got you. Yeah. Yes, First Sergeant. Even to this day, I call him First Sergeant. Why is that? You see what I'm saying?
Respected him.
Exactly.
He just didn't care for
First Sergeant, I just stood up there. And B-Burn stood up there. And we stood up there proud. You know what I'm saying? We stood at attention. This is our final farewell. They ripped off the U.S. Army off our ACUs, right? The uniform that we wear as Army people, right? Ripped it off, threw it on the ground, ripped his off, threw it on the ground, proceeded to try to rip our names off, and one of the smokes said that was a little too much. For Sergeant First Class Rich, I remember him because he was fast.
Yeah.
He was the only one that used to threaten me with that stuff, with that intimidation, man, with that running.
I hated his
man. He was fast.
He was fast, for sure.
Yeah, he said he told him it was a little much.
Yeah, Smoke Rich. He was a great dude. He was a great leader.
And that's how we left the Army, bro.
Mad disrespectful. So he already had his DD-214. He could have just walked off base, dude, and never looked back. And that shit would have never happened. But they kicked him out. They gave him their DD-214, and they said go home. And they should have went home. But he took it to the extent of, all right, now you're not a soldier anymore. Come up to formation. So they had to go from the bottom of the hill to the top of the hill. That's like a 20-minute drive. So
right, and just Sergeant Conley didn't know either. Yeah, but Sergeant Conley didn't even know either. That's how messed up this was, right? The whole situation was messed up. He even apologized to me. For a little about Sergeant Conley, I got a phone call that he passed away when I was locked up.
Yeah, Sergeant Conley and I were roommates. For a
no,
while.
I didn't.
Yeah. He went through some stuff, and a lot of it was because First Sergeant Deathridge. He wasn't there for June 6th. His stuff was more hurting and pills. And
he apologized. He said, "I am sorry. I am so sorry. I did not know. I am so sorry." And at the time I was just angry, right? I was just like, whatever, dude, whatever. But yeah, so it was a mess, bro. It was a whole mess of harassment. It is what it is, but
shit, it sounds like somebody needed to disappear quick.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff kind of was messed up with that dude in charge, man. To be honest.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if you had people in the South, they would have made that happen.
Right.
I'm from Texas, though. I'm from San Antonio.
You'd have never found them.
Nah. Hey, if you met him, you'd love him because he's like you. He's from one of those places where they kiss each other's cousins.
Nah, we don't be doing that. That's Alabama, son. That's Alabama.
I don't even know where he was from.
I think he was from Mississippi.
Was he?
Nah.
He might have been. I think I'm gonna ask somebody.
I would say he's from Kentucky, but my good friend Beaver was born there, so we're not gonna say that. I think he was born in Kentucky, right? He was born in Kentucky, lives in Tennessee.
Who, Beaver?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
man, we're doing good.
Well, I'm glad you're doing all right. You got early retirement because of that dude, you know.
Yeah.
God paid it to you for it. You know, you just had to clean up a little bit, get right, and I appreciate you for that, dude, because we all go through our ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's based off of our, structure system. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'll tell you like my mama tells me, a light shines on a dog's ass every now and then.
Yeah, there's a Southern hospitality.
Well, hell yeah, no. Good thing you was there. And I hate to say it, it's probably a good thing you went through what you did. You wouldn't be who you were if you didn't.
Absolutely.
So what is it that you do now?
I'm actually going back to school to be a writer.
Okay.
Yeah, so
a writer.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually pretty smart but stupid at the same time. I was one of those guys that was book smart but lacked common sense. So, yeah, which probably wasn't the best fit for the Army, but
right. You shine, boy, till you messed up.
Yeah.
And you didn't even mess up, though. It's just because you kept your loyalty and pride, and
sometimes you gotta let that go. But yeah, I get it. I think I remember they telling me that you were over there on the side of the T-walls. I think, Zachariah, you saw.
Yeah, I seen the round impact. I got smacked by the.
Yeah.
By the porta john that was on the far end. There was two of them that went up because another one hit the other side too. So
man, how shitty is that you get hit by the shitter?
I'm glad it was a shitter and not shrapnel, bro. Imagine if it was shrapnel. I couldn't even imagine, dude. Because if it was just like shrapnel, I would have been stuck to that wall, like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They would have came and got me off that wall, and I would have not got to help all those people that I got to help, and my buddy Centrone got this. Well, he didn't get to see, but his wife got to spend 10 days extra with him before he passed. But it is what it is. Like I was talking to somebody. Derek was telling me. He was like, "Yeah, dude. I remember you taking me to the bird." I was like, "Bro, I don't even remember taking you to the bird, bro." Like,
I said you were all over the place, though, bro.
I know, dude. Because when
said you were running around,
when I was running around, dog, there was nobody doing anything. It wasn't till the all clear, dude. Till the all clear, it was probably like 6 of us. And then people were like, I'm running, fool. I'm running, fool. And people were from the bunkers. I remember when Valkenburg was like, Zach. I'm like, nah. And I just kept running, dude. And I just kept taking off. Like, I was legitimate, like, running to make sure that, the people that I care about was okay, dude. Because I loved everybody there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it was good to have veterans of veterans. You know what I'm saying? Y'all were veterans of already a war. That makes any sense. We were there new.
I know.
So that was good that you were there, bro, because look at us. Looking like chickens with our heads cut off sometimes.
Dude, and that's only because my chief, dude. My chief from my first deployment, his name was Staff Sergeant Grimes. I got the pleasure of going to advanced leaders course to ALC when I became a staff sergeant, and he was the senior there and my instructor. I kept running into that dude, and he, oh man, he was a father figure to me, dude. And I can tell you, my first deployment, we kicked open the door, and they start shooting at us.
Yeah.
And he just ran in, bro, and me and my boy Pac pulled me back, and I hit the floor like, oh. And we're trying to find this fool. This was already on top of the roof, running by himself, like he's in a movie, dog. He's American Sniper or something, like that ass. You know, I looked up to him and admire him. You know, and he's human. You know, we all make mistakes and we all cope and deal with things or whatever. But you know, he's made mistakes in his things. But I watched him, you know, bounce back and be resilient. You know what I mean? And he was just an all around great dude. And I wanted to be like him, so when stuff always popped off, dude, I always put the scared behind me, fool. I wasn't really scared, you know. I was I just swallowed that shit, and I was just like, all right, if I'm running this way and a round comes down and lands on me, then it was just my time to go. Let me help as many people as I can before I go. They put me in for a Bronze Star Valor, dog, and because of my rank at the time, they downgraded it to a fucking Archon Valor. I don't give a shit about that. It kind of like made me mad because I could have put in for a Purple Heart. I could have done this. Right. You know, I mean, I didn't do any of that. I didn't take advantage. I was upset. I was angry. I even re-enlisted full indefinite that deployment.
Really?
Yeah, I enlisted indefinite that deployment because I was so angry.
Yeah.
I was making it a career, fool. I was like, no, I'm going back again. And then I got orders to Afghanistan, and they, I had like a permanent profile, a P4 profile that they medically. No, that's the worst. So you have a P1 profile. So you don't know what it is, Tim. A P1 is like I can't run because I got a sprained ankle right now. I need it to heal.
Yeah.
You know, P2 is like I can't wear my gear. I can wear my gear, but I can't carry my weapon. You know, and you got like P3 is like, nah, this dude's kind of jacked up. He might not be able to wear his gear or carry a weapon. Or like P4, like, no, this guy can't carry his gear and can't carry a weapon, so he can't be a soldier. So once you get to P4 status and it becomes a chronic issue, which my back and my legs, my knees, all that good stuff, once it gets to that point, they just, all right, you're no good to the Army. Oh, just because I can't run 13-minute miles, 2 miles anymore. Now I'm shitless, because I run 17. Like I'm still passing. Like what's I'm not a super soldier no more. So you're gonna kick me to the curb. But I watch. It's all about politics, man. I watch motherfuckers come in and out, dude, and be great soldiers, and Diaz, I seen shit in you, dude. Just like I seen shit in Floyd. They put Floyd in my room so that I could be his mentor and show him. And I used to go to the basketball court and chill with that fool, and he's a great dude.
Oh man. Yeah, that did come up. We did play basketball.
Yeah, I played every night.
I remember that, man. I used to foul Marcellus all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
jump on him.
Oh, you have to. He's like fucking
energized bunny. Yeah,
he's like 15 feet tall.
Yeah, I remember that.
I used to go play out there with like Germany and them. Remember Germany, tall Germany? I did a show with him too. And then they had the KBR contractors out there, and we used to play basketball with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the camp was small. So
that does come back, but yeah,
there was a lot of good times there, dude. It's just we had a few bad days. And like Peterson, when Peterson became an NCO out there, they put him in charge of being up on the tower at the OP, and he had RPG come through, and hit their wall, hit the tower. They were trying to take out the cruisers, but you have good times too, because you come down from that, and that's a good time. Like, dude, I survived an RPG attack. It went right over my head. And then you go in and you look at the crater and you're just like, damn, dude, I survived that. That's awesome. You know,
shit.
so like I tell stories and it just amazes me because people start, and I'm looking at it like, is that not normal? Is that not okay? Like, did I pass the line? Like, what's going on?
I'll explain it to you.
You're like, dude, that's not normal, bro. And we got a lot of people out there that's not normal. We had I don't know if you knew or not, but we had a lot of guys, actually, not just Connolly, that are not with us anymore after deployment to their own means,
right.
of them not wanting to be here type deal. But we got a pretty high count up there since 2011, dude. I think we have we're like in the 20s or 30s of guys that
really,
that took their lives.
I had no idea. I only get in touch with a few people, from that whole situation. B-Burn, Marcellus, really not that much people. Some here and there, like Peterson. We talked about something. I said thank you one time. I think I was drunk, and I said thank you for pulling me out, and he said no problem, bro. I'm sure he has those text messages or whatever they were on Messenger. Cobaruvius, I think I said hi to him once or twice. Jositis, I saw him. Older, sold him. Yeah, man. I'm not sure. Just kind of lost contact.
I think we're all pretty bad at that, and life happens. It's kind of easy when you're there for years and years together, you know what I mean? And everybody's around each other and you're constantly, but when they break up the band, dude, you all go your separate ways, and it's just like, damn. Yeah. And you realize, man, all my brothers are from literally all across the United States.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird, I'm from Texas, Gonzo's from New York, you know what I'm saying?
I'm in Nevada.
They're just all over. Nevada, yeah. Tennessee, all over the place. We're all over the place, man.
But all right, dude, I'm gonna give you a couple minutes. You want to say something to the people listening out here? You got a message for anybody you want to set out there, or a message to the people?
Absolutely. To anyone that's struggling, including veterans, combat veterans, just civilians. PTSD is a real thing. Mental health is a real thing. It does control your life if you let it. And there's always a way to get out. I'm living proof of that, right? My Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is who I have in my heart, and I made it through so much stuff that it's not even funny, and I'm still here. I got a beautiful wife, beautiful family. It is possible. Yes, it is absolutely possible. Yeah, like so many of my brothers, I have attempted the same thing, and I'm gonna tell you, it's better to come out on this side. It really is, and I love you guys, wherever you are.
Oh yeah, good message, bro.
Good solid message.
Yep.
All right, everybody. I'd like to thank you for coming on this emotional ride with us today on Humbled, All Walks of Life. Appreciate you, Diaz. Appreciate you, Tim.
Yep.
And I appreciate y'all.
We'll see you guys on the next episode. Later.
All right.